going to regret that later.
You laugh like a monkey.
That snapping into a Slim Jim right there.
Hey, bro, don't be saying that. Don't be ousting me on the pod. What if the owner of these gyms listens?
That's true. Since you pilfered them from the neighbor.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes late at night, you gotta do what you gotta do. Get a little hungry, and you cave to your human appetites.
Your most inner desires, which just happen to be a gym.
Yep.
Not a fat gym.
Nope.
Slim Jim.
A Slim Jim. Dude, I ate a Slim Jim the other day that was so crunchy. It was... I mean, I didn't eat the whole thing because the first bite... I mean, it was ancient. I don't know how long it takes for a Slim Jim to get this crunchy, but dude, it was like eating a dog treat.
I don't think Slim Jims get crunchy, dude.
I
don't think that's a Slim Jim.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
I bet the package seal was broken and it just dried out.
It was crunchy.
Dog food, bro. That looks like dog food.
Yeah.
That can't be good for you.
So many packaged foods, but does it taste good? It's funny how...
It's a cashew cookie bar.
With like healthy, quote-unquote healthy packaged foods, it's like the worse they make them taste, the more you believe it's healthy for you, even though it's still basically as bad for you as a Snickers bar. You might as well have just gone for the Snickers.
Wait a second. Are you kidding me? No, dude, this is great. Oh, I think this is meant to fill you up, though. It's a nut bar. A Lara bar.
No, a Lara bar. Those are pretty
Original real fruit. Yeah, turn down the music a little bit, sorry. It's a Lara bar, original real fruit and nut bar. 2 ingredients. Cashew and cookie? I don't think so. Cashew and something else. I gotta say, it tastes pretty good.
Yeah. The Lara bars, so the ones that have estrogen in them, they make your...
Are you for real?
There was some rumor going around some kind of bar at one point. Oh, it was back when there was Cliff bars. It was like the main bar out there. Then the Luna bar came out, but there was because they were marketed towards women. There was a
shitload of soy in it.
Well, yeah, but there's also a rumor that like it actually like messed with your estrogen levels and all this stuff. And so people were staying away from them.
I don't want to speak out of ignorance here, but I'm pretty sure I remember like there's some kind of vegetable that has an insane amount of estrogen in it. Like, or plant, like, I don't know. I don't want to say like, I can't remember what it was, but I just remember I found it out and I stopped eating it because of the amount of estrogen. It was like, I think it was like snap peas or something like that because I loved them. And then I just like read online and like, yeah, snap peas have like measurable milligrams of estrogen in each one. I'm just like, what? It's like you eat a bag of snap peas, you just took like dosage of like transitioning estrogen. Yeah. Just like, okay, all right, I'm done.
My nipples have felt so sore. I've been eating this health snack.
Yeah.
Start talking in a higher pitched voice. You end up like Robert from Fight Club. His name was
Robert Paulson.
And he lactated because he was the backstory? He was a football player that he'd gone too heavy on the roids and it messed him up.
And then the withdrawals made his body overcompensate with estrogen or something, right?
Yeah, and he started lactating.
There was some huge boobs, Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Did you know his name's Meatloaf? That was the actor?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The musician? All right, which plants... Oh, sorry. I shouldn't just say plants. Which vegetables have high amounts of estrogen? What do you think is the most female vegetable?
I don't know. Not the eggplant. Because I only use that and when I'm texting as a specific phallic emoji
Yeah.
to my friends.
I bet you're right. Highest with estrogen in it naturally is flax seeds. Not a vegetable, right? But a seed. Then soy, of course. But then peaches have a lot of estrogen in them. Then garlic is another one. But the vegetables with the highest, richest amount of phytoestrogens, which is plant-based estrogen, broccoli, cabbage, and collard greens. Collard greens is like a blanket term. I feel like you need to have a more specific like name for it, because collard greens that's not just like one vegetable, right? Isn't it? Like, isn't that mean like a medley of greens?
No, it is.
Usually?
It's a vegetable.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I always, whenever I've had collard greens at a restaurant, it was like a medley of
You thought
stuff.
it was just like mushy green peas.
No, it wasn't just mushy. It was like a little bit of lettuce, some other veggies. I don't know.
That's because the lady who cooked them was probably not from Alabama.
Brussels sprouts are also really high in estrogen. So there you go. That's bad news because I love Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
I also like broccoli. Anyways, I don't know when this podcast is beginning, but I'm just going to say it now. Hey, everybody. Hey, Ken. Welcome to the Mick and Pat show. I'm Mick, and Pat's sitting across from me, and it's been a minute. I think it's been, 2 weeks since we recorded last? Yeah.
2 weeks. Had a 4th of July celebration, vacation. I was out of town, so now we're back in it, and hoping to get back in the rhythm. We've had a couple breaks, and so we've been talking about all of our great big plans, solving all the world problems at the headquarters here for the Mick and Pat show.
I don't know about world problems, but solving my problems.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. We got we're planning on launching the YouTube channel here pretty soon, and throwing videos up, which backlog of all of our podcasts will be available on YouTube. Found a pretty cool idea for doing a web page on a Pod Hub. No, I keep on saying that, and I know it's not right.
Pod host, Pod
I don't know.
blaster, Pod page.
Pod page.
Yeah.
This seems pretty cool. A lot of tailoring, and it allows to do essentially like their version of Patreon and have like what's called Supercast members, which are people who are like, they're donating to you or subscribed, and you get access to stuff. It'll be pretty cool because we got all our merch designs just completed recently, and now that Pat's back in town and I'm back in town with no big there's no big trips on the horizon right now, right?
No.
Yeah, so we can just kind of heads down, get some shirts, get some stickers, maybe some hats all set up for our kin out there. And then, I feel like a good move would just be make it cheap for Supercast fans, something like if you support us monthly or whatever, get it X amount of discount on the store, X amount of discount on affiliate links, which is also cool because we have our first affiliate partner that's finishing up the paperwork and contract and all the stuff they want us to say, and they'll be sending our way soon. Which
the legal jargon we have to say.
Yeah,
I bet those guys like their legal jargon.
They are lawyers, so I imagine they do enjoy it. It's their job.
Yeah. I was just thinking of how previously on this podcast I've said that I've never met a lawyer I've liked.
Dude, I never would have guessed that our first affiliate would have been a law firm, but that's what it'll be.
Never know.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. And no, it's not Frank D'Azar, the strong arm.
It is.
Well, yeah.
It's not. It's Frank D'Azar for 100%. Or what's the other one that's like just always the bald guy with glasses that looks like kind of Jewish? He's like he looks honestly like the guy who played the bad guy in the Iron Man 3, but he wasn't really the bad guy. He was an actor.
Oh, I don't know. I know who you're talking about. I can't remember that guy's name. There's also Hoyser and Hoyser for a while, which one of those, it was a son and a father. And the father sorry, bro, but he's freaking cross-eyed, which is fine. But like when you're watching a commercial at 10 a.m. in the morning on The Price is Right, and a guy comes on cross-eyed telling you to hire him for legal services, I was like,
I bet he does it just like Better Call Saul does, stuff to get attention.
Oh yeah, but it was like I don't know what he was doing, but
you got to be a killer lawyer to like overcome that and like be making clientele, making money.
Yeah, I think it was Hoyser and Hoyser. His eyes were. I was like, I don't even know if you can read the paper I send you. I'm not sure, but
we better be careful. Actually, you might want to think twice about dropping the names of law firms and then us roasting them. Because of anyone in the world, they're the most likely to sue us for roasting them.
Oh, yeah, for real. Because they have all the right terms for it, for defamation and all this stuff. Like one time, there was one of the guys we've already mentioned. You might not know who it is, but it was one of these guys who was at a golf tournament, and my friend was there, and they kind of like, I forget exactly how it went, but he kind of did something along the lines of, didn't clean up something or just kind of left it behind. Someone like called him on it, and he was just basically like, he looked at him and he's like, he said this pretty much verbatim was, I'm rich as shit, I don't have to. It just walked away.
I hate that.
I know,
I
dude.
hate that so much. Because like, here's the thing that I've noticed. Have you ever met someone that's actually ridiculously stupid wealthy? Like I'm talking like tens of millions of dollars, at least.
Yes.
I have found that those people don't really see themselves above mediocrity and doing usual day in, day out work, right? Like they put the grocery cart back.
Right.
They pump their own gas.
Right.
It's the wealthy people that have yet to hit that real absolute like FU money. You know what I mean? Like they're still in the place where like they say FU, but they don't really have the FU money yet. Because like if you really messed things up or something, like they could go to court or jail over it. But the people who kind of are at the place where they're like, nah, sorry I hit, the people who are in the place where like, oh man, I'm so sorry that I hit your car. Here's like a check for $50,000. I just don't want to deal with the hassle of like doing a court date and all that stuff. Are you okay? No one's injured. Cool. And like, they don't even like, they didn't even total your car. Like, they just hit the bumper and they're like, I don't want anyone to call me and say like they need more money. Yeah. Here's $50,000, whatever. Like people who have that kind of money they can throw away and then all that, like they seem to be like the most polite, kind, rich people. The people who aren't quite there yet, but they always act super rich and always better than you. They're just like one bad stock market day from like not being that rich, not being able to be that cocky. You know?
Yep.
I best I've heard it was like people who do manual labor work, like blue collar jobs, of like plumbers, electricians, things like that. They say like the difference between wealthy and rich is that wealthy people, they know about my kids. They, offer me food and a lemonade when I'm at their place. And I remain professional, right? The whole time. Rich people don't talk to me. They don't want me to talk to anyone. And they just want me to come in and do the job. And they want me to know that like they are above speaking to me. He's like, and the rich people maybe have a net worth of $10 million. The wealthy people are 50 to 100 or more billionaires, right? And it's just like the difference in the way you treat people at that point.
Yeah. I think and you obviously get all sorts in all those categories, but there's something too about like, for people who aren't all about the money, but they're all about the service or the product or that sort of thing, whatever it is, even whatever stage you are, whether you're a small service company owner all the way up to, buying and selling, Walmart, as you're like, yeah, today we're selling Walmart, that big of a deal. It's the people who are, you can be money minded, but not money focused or money ruled, whereas you have like the people who are a slave to the dollar, and so then a lot of people who are a slave to the dollar I wonder if there's something where they hit where they just can't break through because of that, because they're focusing on the wrong stuff, you know. And it's funny, some of the poorest people I've met have been the most ruled by money, and the most or the most content about money. And same with some of the rich people I've met have been the most ruled by money or the most content. But your people can smell your motives, you know.
I think so.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I legit packed my pockets full of snacks and hopes you would break. And comment. You haven't commented on it at all.
Well, I
kept on pulling them out one at a time. Like, you'll laugh at this one.
I have been laughing. I was going to shame you of, like, you know, who's doesn't have FU money? Old Mick, because he just pulled out 3 Slim Jims, a couple Fig Newtons, and a Lara bar.
What are you talking about?
He's getting there, though. He's getting there. But hey,
what do you want me to pull out? Like, Ferrero Rocher?
Yeah. Just but I wanted you to call a private chef and have him cook you something in studio.
Smoke break. Hey, Ken, it's Mick, and I've got something important to talk about. We all hope we never find ourselves in a self-defense situation, but life's unpredictable. Enter the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer, an actual credible law firm you can put on retainer for your self-defense needs. For just $35 a month, you get national coverage in all 50 states for criminal and civil legal representation in self-defense situations, complete with a 24/7, 365 toll-free emergency line. That's real legal support when you need it most. What's in the package? Bail bonds, scene cleanup, firearm replacement, even mental health counseling. Plus, 0 fees for a laundry list of defense-related costs like expert witnesses. So support the show and get yourself some peace of mind. Click the link in our show notes or visit our sponsors page to sign up for the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer.
Hey folks, Pat here. If you're like Mick and I, you're a fan of classic tales like Lonesome Dove, Blood Meridian, The Three-Body Problem, and Steinbeck's East of Eden. With Audible, you can dive into these epic stories anytime, anywhere. Sign up for a free month, and your first audiobook is on the house. To start your free trial and support our show, click the link in the show notes or swing by the sponsors page on our website.
Want an awesome website for your podcast? Check out Podpage. We use it for the Mick and Pat show, and it's a game changer. Set it up in minutes, no coding needed. Support the show by using our link to get started. Your podcast deserves a home as great as ours. Podpage, the one-stop solution. That is actually a goal that I want to achieve, is have my own cook.
Yep. I want to have...
That seems like such a waste of money because I do enjoy cooking, but I also just want to get to the point where I can afford to have someone cook for me.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's like a batch thing and they just do it in the beginning of the week.
Yeah. And some people like want to be a private chef for somebody and just like provide awesome food all the time. So
college towns, almost all these sororities and fraternities here have private chefs.
Yeah. And some of those people probably really like their job. They're making cool stuff. But okay, so if you had God money, the FU money,
like we're talking like $1 billion,
just kind of, it's not an issue. You know, whatever it is, it's not an issue. Yeah.
No, I don't have to do anything anymore. Yeah. My money makes more overnight in my sleep on dividends than I could spend in like a month.
Exactly. So what are some of the things you would have? Like for me, here's one of the things that is on my list. I would have an Annie Ann's pretzel shop in my house.
In your house?
And it would always be ready. And it'd be in a section of my house where whenever I'm walking down there,
you're going to have all those strangers in your house every day.
Yeah, dude.
Making that food.
Yeah, dude. And you just walk over there and there's always an Annie Ann's pretzel on demand. And it has that wonderful smells coming out of it.
What about making money from it? Making revenue from it?
These are, like I said, these are my Annie Ann's pretzels for me and my guests.
This seems so unrealistic, bro. I don't think Annie Ann's would agree to that. I think the city would come and say, hey, this is out of code. You can't have this restaurant inside your home. You have to essentially make your whole house lower level mall duplex and then the upper level apartments.
Yes. And this is what I would have in my house.
You'd say, Shut up.
I've paid the mayor off.
Shut up. Here's $100,000.
Yeah.
Shut up. Go away.
I want to have my Annie Ann's pretzels on demand. That's what I would. That's one of the things on my list.
Wow.
That I would definitely have.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was just. This is how you can tell I'm poor, right? This is how you can tell I'm not wealthy, right? I was just thinking in like layman's terms of like guns.
Yeah.
I guess though I should be really thinking like tanks. You know?
Yeah.
I've never really wanted a tank or a plane or anything like that military wise for the sake of shooting it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always just thought it would be cool to have a tank to like just have it on display and like, you know, kind of the same reason of having a dinosaur skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if we're at this point where we're talking about FU money, I'm talking about getting a full-on Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care if it's a real one.
In the atrium of your home when you walk in.
Yeah.
First thing people see. Yeah.
Or I think I'm trying to think food-wise, man, and the only thing I can think of is like going back to like a chef.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd probably go to like a different restaurant for every meal, 3 times a day for 30 days.
Yeah.
And wherever I had the best food, I would just go poach that chef and be like, I would like you to cook for me forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that'd be awesome. I think that I would maybe go become a dictator of a small country, you know, and you could just have a zoo.
What country could you get for $1 billion?
There's got to be a couple out there.
Yeah, it'd take all your money away, bro.
I'm just saying, you go out there and you could just be the king of your little. Maybe I'd have an island, the zoo. I don't know,
like Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I would like to have like okay, all right. Are we talking about like no moral stuff too? Like if I didn't have morals,
you can keep your morals.
No, because see, here's what I do. Like if I didn't have morals, I would definitely create like an animal fight club.
Oh yeah.
Like I would just start importing bears and gorillas and just like letting, you know, super shady with all the other billionaire clubs. I'd be like, hey, we don't do the kid stuff out here. Like that's not this kind of billionaire club. $1 million. Nah, I would make it cheaper. $100,000 buys you a ticket to come and sit ringside to watch the silverback fight a grizzly bear. And yeah, that's the first round. That's like the warm up fight.
What's that show that came out during COVID?
Squid Games?
Yeah, Squid Games. You're getting into the Squid Games just without the human loss of life.
Honestly, I would probably love to do like something like The Most Dangerous Game. Like just not like actually like having to kill someone, right?
Right.
But like playing the game with like, I don't know. It'd be fun. It'd be fun to do like essentially just adult tag. You know what I mean? Like get 10 people, have them on my island and be like, welcome to my island. It is 80 square miles.
Like, and you'd put on like the biggest, most real like Dungeons and Dragons like scenarios.
No. I'm not, I mean, that'd be cool, but like I'm just straight up talking about like you have to like last 3 days out here with only the supplies provided you, which you know they'd all get like a tiny little backpack with like minimum bare first aid kit, satellite radio for emergency if they're injured, and then like nothing else. It's like if you survive, you will win $10 million. Well, no, if you survive, if you're the last one not caught, you'll win $10 million. However, if me and my like, I'll just like, you know, wave my hand. If me or my portly, small English young men here, and they'd be all like these fat school kids, catch you with our nets, and like we just have net guns. We catch you, we'll ridicule you. We won't hurt you. We just ridicule you, and then you have to go be a substitute teacher in like the most inner city London school where they just like, and you can't understand anything they're saying, and like that's their punishment.
Yeah,
and then it's like, but if you escape, like $10 million. I think it gets spicy, bro. Because here's the thing: like, if you have that kind of money, you can live without the 10 mil. Those people, though, even though I'm not trying to kill them, even though the little interns I have aren't trying to kill them, I think they'd kill each other for $10 million. You know what I mean?
I think it would get very bad very quickly.
Yeah, but it'd be sick. It'd be cool. It'd be hilarious, bro. Can you imagine like a inner city slang fat English kid
running you down with a net gun?
He just like, "Oh, Mr. Mick, I think I've seen one from Volks over there."
You just have the dog nappers from 101 Dalmatians coming after him.
This would be so funny.
It definitely would. Another thing I would have every day, brand new pair of socks.
Yeah, we already talked about this.
Did we talk about this
the
on
rich
here?
guy who every day wears a pair of new socks and a pair of underwear.
I would do the undies. I wouldn't have to, but like the feeling of putting on new socks
because you don't
every
wear
day.
underwear anyways.
Never know. Never know,
bro. What, you do the socks over the instead of the underwear? I would do fresh, clean underwear every single day.
Right,
so do you get nut sweat? Come on, man.
Yep. So the clean, but a washed pair of underwear feels the same to me as a brand new pair. Whereas like,
no, there's a different way they hold the beans, bro. Like fresh, boxer briefs really. Like there, the brand, like your brand, and you love it because of the way it holds the beans.
The way that they're brand new,
cups the beans.
This is true, but the socks, man, I do love them. I've been trying out a new pair of underwear. It's the Duluth Trading Company.
Yeah, they make really good undies.
Yeah,
I haven't ever had any of them, but I've heard that they're very comfortable and they don't overheat and the waistband doesn't wear out, all that jazz.
Yeah, these are called the Armachillos, and they're very supportive. These versions are called the Bullpen. There's a little area for you to be supported within.
Hell yeah, dude.
Keeps you from chafing and all that.
Dude, did you ever get the Duluth pants that are like made for squatting so you don't pinch your nuts when you stand back up?
No.
Do
they work?
I've never had to work hard in my life, so
I don't know if I've ever.
I'm not a blue collar person.
I don't know if I've ever done that in normal pants, but
no, dude, you've never squatted deep down like a deep low squat to like look under a cupboard, and then like as you stand back up, like your jeans just pinch your nuts on one side against your leg or something. No, maybe
I'm not as gifted. Maybe they are trained to.
Dude, I don't have really big dangly nuts. I feel like it's not that hard to get your nuts pinched.
I've pinched them on stuff. Dude, I almost pinched
them on what? Like the laundry machine? Dude, what do you mean on stuff? I sit down at a park bench and it goes between the slats.
Stuck through the slats.
What do you mean by pinched?
The other day, dude, I almost castrated myself with a caulk gun. It was incredible.
A what?
A caulk gun.
A cock gun?
Yeah. And I closed it and it pinched my inner leg, dude. I jumped like a tiny little girl and I was jumping around and my coworker was wondering what was going on. Thought I was making a big deal of it. When I got home that night, I had a giant big old bruise on the inside of my leg. Got me in the soft meat. There's not a lot of...
How could you castrate yourself if it was on the inside of your leg?
Upper inside.
Oh.
Like an
inch. Arch?
Yeah, an inch away from the business.
I got it. Okay.
And so here,
let's be real here. Do you shave your nuts? There's only one right answer.
Well, there's I think there's a whole multitude of answers.
All right, do you trim your nuts?
There's also different areas.
You manscape your nuts?
I do some manscaping.
You manscape
on occasion.
Cojones?
It's not routine.
All right. I do it like probably once every couple weeks.
Just got to maintain.
But here's my thing. People think I'm a psychopath. I've met dudes who think I'm absolutely insane, and then I meet a couple guys every once in my life who are like, dude, I do the same thing. Like the exact same routine, and I just don't get how anyone doesn't do it. Sorry to our listeners out there who don't want like some vivid imagery, but I'm about to get pretty vivid here. I just want homies to know the routine and know that it's safe to do. You're not going to hurt yourself.
Well, you can hurt yourself.
Yeah, if you're I'll tell you this. I've never cut myself with a razor, only with an electric trimmer.
The electric trimmer will...
electric trimmer grabs that soft skin.
Some damage.
Chews it up, dude. Like, you got to be careful. You got to keep it taut. Okay, all right. Do you want to know what goes on? And for all those who don't want to hear this, skip ahead.
Oh, my God.
It won't take long. It'll probably be 5 minutes at most. So here's the business, man. Here's how I do it, right? I start with an electric trimmer on a guard, right? And I just start going around on a long guard to get everything trimmed out and even.
Yeah.
And then I go back, no guard, and I just trim lower to about like maybe 1/8 of an inch, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I never let the metal of that electric razor touch the skin because it cuts you quick.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you ever seen, I'm trying to think of a very good comparison here. I really can't think of anything that's a good comparison here.
Ever seen someone cut
like, okay,
their nuts?
no, yeah, like, have you ever seen someone clip their nuts? It's like that. No, so you know, like a vacuum cleaner, and then like, as your hand gets close to the vacuum cleaner, there's like the differential pressure, and then it goes.
Yeah,
that's what happens with an electric razor in your soft nut skin. Like you just don't want that getting pulled in there, and
you have to keep a safe barrier.
Yeah, and there's a lot of veins down there, so like any cut is scary.
Bleeder.
Yeah, but then after I trim that low to like 1/8 of an inch, I
wax.
do. No, not wax.
Oh.
But imagine like, you know, this right here for those that aren't home, they can't really see, right? But like I got like my knuckle here underneath my shirt and it's kind of stretchy. I pull that nut skin real tight over one nut. Oh so it's just like, it's just just the ball and then the skin pulled tight around it. And then I take my special Harry's razor. Is it Harry's? It might still be Harry's. And I just use the Harry's razor and shaving cream and just go across that nut till it's glossy smooth. And then I just pull more skin off, like not off, but like more skin over, you know, until like I get another hairy section. And then I just do that. And it honestly looks really satisfying, you know what I mean? Because then like you get to the point where it's like almost polishing your nuts, dude. Because like after like a couple, like you got shaving cream and the razor, and then after a couple you look down and you wash the shaving cream away and you're like, damn, I can see my reflection in those. Like so anyways, there you go. That's how I do it. Some people think I'm insane for putting a 4-bladed razor close by, but I feel like that's safer than the electric razor. The electric razor is the only thing that's ever cut me.
Yeah, just you better not sneeze while you're doing it or cough. But
sometimes I do without my glasses on.
Oh my God, dude!
Life is a highway, bro.
That is dangerous. I'm so glad that I just started sharing this podcast with my grandmother.
No, that's why I said like skip ahead. You know.
Oh yeah.
But you don't do that. You don't. That's not your method.
No.
How low do you go? Do you get real low?
In my life,
do you go down to low? In
my life, I've used the same method you just described vividly. Yeah, I'm not afraid of the real blade.
Respect, Slim.
Yeah, I use a Bear Grylls survival knife.
Oh my! Yeah.
No, but listen.
All right.
Sometimes you gotta take care of yourself. Be hygienic.
Yeah. Anyways. My last billionaire thing, if I had all the money in the world, probably a runway, like my own private runway. I think that'd be pretty bitchin'.
Oh, for sure.
Like just being able to take off and land whenever you want. That'd be sick.
I agree. I would have multiple runways and a helipad somewhere on a boat.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So that I could go check on my cattle.
Yeah.
You know,
be sick.
Or go to the beach.
Yeah.
All right, you said you had a question.
Yeah, speaking of which is, you know, I don't actually usually say that for things that are related. That's just my transition to a totally irrelevant subject. Dude, I think I'm experiencing something very new in life.
What's that?
I think I'm going to break up with a friend.
Oh, no.
And I don't think I've ever done that before, man. I don't think I've ever felt like, man, this friendship is just not good for me anymore. This is not a life-giving friendship.
Yeah.
And I think I gotta set up boundaries. And those boundaries are inevitably, hey man, we can still hang out, but I just don't want you to talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of weird, but like, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on that, because I've had friends who were like, I've had friends that like weren't super close and, you know, weren't, you know, speaking, you know, to our Christian audience out there, the Bible is very clear about being careful with being friends with non-believers and how much, you know, stake you put into those relationships, and you know how much
influence you give in your life, and how much you,
which like certainly I'm not here to say like you can't be friends with non-believers, not at all. Like I think you should be in order to, you know, love them as Jesus does. But there's definitely, I think, supposed to be boundaries, and I think with all of my friends who aren't believers, I've always felt like I've had a good enough distance between us that whenever they said anything negative about Christianity, or whenever they went on a tirade of something that I just didn't believe in, but, you know, they're just going off on like a whole political tangent, or whenever they said something mean because they were upset with me, I don't think I had a lot of value placed in those relationships that like it ever really upset me. Like I think I'd be like, oh man, that wasn't really nice. I guess I don't know if I really want to hang out with them this next week, or at school, or in, you know, outside of school, whatever. And then with like friends that are believers, I've always felt very comfortable going to them and be like, hey man, you hurt my feelings, or hey, I apologize for hurting your feelings. That wasn't God honoring, you know, in the way like I got upset at you, or hey man, I feel like you know, you really went on a tirade there and you said some things that hurt my feelings, offended me. And because we were both believers, I felt like we had an agreed upon, like, this is what we do as Christians, as like we go to one another with grievances, ask for forgiveness, and forgive freely, and try to be better, and like let that be a thing that improves the friendship. I got a friend now who a couple of years ago, he would just go on and on and on about all these doubts he was having about Christ and God, and he's a pastor's kid. And he was just like, he would only ramble on these long things of like how he was upset and like doesn't know if he believes in God. How can God be real if there's so much evil in this world, the things he's seen? And I get it. The dude's seen a lot of stuff and it's been uncomfortable. But he never once ever opened the door for like, what do you think, man? What are your thoughts on this? And like, I've always just tried to be very patient in those situations. Like, I'm not going to tell this person like what I think the answers are unless they want to know. Because most of the time when people are just venting like that and just getting it out, a lot of the times it's like, they don't really need you to tell them, well, man, like I can explain it to you why God is still good, even though there's evil in the world. I'm happy to sit and have that conversation. Right. And like most people would ask you when they want to hear that, right? They're like, I don't know, man. What do you think? Like, I'm really wrestling with this, and I don't know if Jesus ever even existed. Was Jesus a misogynist? You know, like all these things that like, you know, they hear, and there's, you know, the deconstruction of Christianity, whatever. Usually there's conversations, right? Right. This dude just, it was never a conversation. It was always, this is what I feel, and don't you think it's bullshit about this? And don't you think like XYZ and how that's like kind of contradictory? And it wasn't even actually don't you think, it was just, I think this is contradictory. And then by the end of the conversation, it'd be really late and he's like, all right, I'm going home. I'd be like, cool. Like I just sat here for 3 hours quiet. And then but I just, you know, I continued praying for him, and then he ended up walking away from the faith completely, saying, I don't believe in it anymore. Maybe he believes in the high power, but he doesn't believe in Christ as Savior, God as Father, you know. And then went through a really nasty divorce. And I was trying to be in there, support him for and all that. And I don't know, man. It just seems like ever since, as things have gone on, I've realized pretty much our friendship exists as him venting about something to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, it makes me sad, makes me depressed. When he gets angry or when he says things like hurls insults at me, I'm just like, dude, that really hurt my feelings. And I think it's because I still view him like the stake in the relationship as a brother in Christ. And that I like that we could go to each other and be very transparent and honest, but that's just not what it is anymore. Because like I can't ask him to hold himself to the same accountability that I could ask you to, right? And I shouldn't expect it.
Right.
And it's just gotten to the point now, like where I realized I was really sad and depressed right before 4th of July because he had just gone on a tirade, you know, just over text messages about kind of making some accusations that hurt my feelings. And probably some of them are valid, right? Like, you know, we need to be open to criticism and acknowledging where we might be falling short in character.
Right.
And I was like, dude, why does this make me so sad? Why does this make me so depressed? And it's really, I really feel like this is the only guy that I get upset and bent out of shape about when he's mean or when he's, you know, says mean things. I feel like the rest of my friends, I feel pretty comfortable going to him and being like, hey, dude, that hurt my feelings. Can we resolve this? Can we talk about it? And I just realized I don't have the right boundary set with him, you know, as a non-believer and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of breaking that friendship off, and I've been brainstorming like how to go about it, but I've never done it before, you know. And I'm really just gonna be like, hey man, we can still hang out. We have a lot of overlapping friends. I'm still happy to help you. Like if you ever want to switch job fields, you know, if you want to look at like applications for my company or whatever. But I'm gonna ask that you don't really text me that like we have a boundary set here of, you know, we interact just like we do with our other friends where we only really interact when we're all hanging out as a group and stuff, and only text when we're really scheduling or within a group chat, because I've just realized like most of the time you're just venting and yelling and frustrated about something that I really don't agree with you on, and I just sit here and listen to it, and then you get upset at me about stuff that hurts my feelings. I just think it's not healthy for me anymore, man. I'm sorry to hear it, like say that, but like I just don't. I think it's the right move, and I'm just kind of. I want to hear what your thoughts are because I haven't had anyone to kind of process this with either. You know, like because I don't really know anyone else who has had to, you know, dump a friend who's had to like break up with their homie.
Yeah, because in most cases it's just like there's just natural drift. You just you fall out of touch, whatever, and they can just become like a person you see on social media or something, whatever. But if they're remaining in your circles and if they're a toxic person, it's sometimes I guess you have to pull the plug on it, especially if it sounds pretty one-sided.
Well, that's what I
sound
realized,
like
man.
you have a relationship anymore.
That's what I realized
like
looking back.
You're a whipping boy of Christianity for him.
Well, I go through our messages, you know, and most of his messages are always blown up about something that he's upset with politically, or he uses a lot of inflammatory language, I think.
Right.
And you know, he's I don't think he's a bad guy by any means. I think he's a great guy. But he's really quick to like throw out pretty harsh judgments, like you know, if you said like, oh, I really like this actor or speaker or something like that, then he'd be like, oh, dude, that guy is such a like fascist cuck.
Right. Yeah. Like,
and it's just like, what the hell?
Don't you know what he tweeted in 2010?
Yeah, it is. It is like that sometimes.
Like, well, no, I don't know what he tweeted in 2010, but I still like to watch him in an action movie.
And the times I've tried to like talk to him about stuff, be like, hey man, I think you might have the wrong idea here, or hey dude, actually this is how I kind of see that. Just immediate like, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to listen to a bunch of old guys discuss something that is totally stupid, and you know, or like it's. I'm just like, okay, man, I don't think you get it. I don't. I'm your friend, and I love you, and I'm happy to sit and listen with you. But like, I don't agree with you.
Right.
Like we don't see eye to eye on this stuff. And like, I've just been praying and hoping that like he would want to ask. You know, like he'd want to be like, well, what's your opinion on this?
Right.
So that way I could be like, well, dude, actually, I'd appreciate it. You know, if you kind of cooled off, because I happen to believe in that. You know, or I happen to think that is a good thing. You know,
right? Because it's with people like this. It's classic too, where basically because they're so self-righteous, they don't give anybody else a platform to speak on, and then also you're just immediately vilified for anything, and then there's no responsibility on them to allow for a conversation or dialogue. You know, and then especially if someone's just so jaded and so full of hate, it's not. It's
and it's weird, man. It's because like when it's in a group setting, not a hateful person,
right?
Not a jaded person, but it's like only over one-on-one messages or texts or like one-on-one combos do I feel like he really lets himself loose about like being pretty pessimistic or something.
Yeah.
Which is why I think he's a great guy. I think he's a good dude at heart.
Yeah.
And I just need to set that boundary of like, hey dude, I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
Right.
Like I just don't want to talk about any of this stuff. And I don't like the way I feel after you go on a diatribe.
Yeah.
And it's not because I feel like anything you said was valid. I just feel like you're trying to like be mean and like you're not aware. Like I feel like you don't care enough to ask if like if I'm offended by that, you know?
Right. Because if this person would, I'd assume, gets offended about all sorts of stuff and would be offended if you offended them. You know, but it has no no ability to see the street both ways, you know?
Yeah. Which is weird too, because like I feel so comfortable speaking freely around like other Christians because I feel very comfortable with like if I've said something that offends them, I feel like they always come to me and be like, I don't know, man, if I agree with that actually. And like we have a conversation about it because I feel like we can meet in that middle without getting very heated and stuff.
Yeah.
And with like non-believers, I'm usually just like, I don't really see the point in telling them like, oh, I disagree and that offends me. And it's because they don't believe, right?
Right.
And so I never really put a lot of stake in like correcting them or trying to get them to see what I see. I always would rather just like, rather than tell you I disagree with your view on God, how about we just hang out and I'll buy you lunch, you know, or I'll grab you a beer and we could sit and talk about like something actually of value to your life.
Right.
And I can pray for you in that, you know, or something like I could do something like life-giving
right.
rather than doing this. And like, it's just now like that this relationship has gone from two believers to not. I feel like I'm just like trapped in like waiting for permission, like I would with a non-believer, but also like deeply hurt because because I think of him still as like a brother in Christ, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't, have you ever dumped a friend, dude? Have you just kind of ghosted?
I've had to have hard conversations and stuff around also like kind of like had to redefine the relationship, the DTR, you know, but then like the re-DTR around, you know, like where there's like especially like in this case it sounds like, you know, it's something where I have to be like these topics, beliefs and politics, like I'm not going to engage in those with you. We can talk about other stuff, you know, like if you text me about this stuff, I'm not going to respond. If you want to go see a movie, sure, you know, like but like because you don't value the relationship we have enough to be a two-way street, like I'm not going to put my time and effort into like just letting you be a hateful person. Yeah. You know,
it's kind of weird too, because any other like people I've kind of ghosted or like stopped hanging out with were people who I thought were like bad influences, like wanted me to always either drink or were always smoking weed and never like never really respecting my request to like, hey man, can you not smoke weed when we hang out? Because it kind of could like endanger me in my career if like I get secondhand high, right? With, you know, being federally illegal. And people who like that just like, you know, are bad influences and not like willing to like respect those things it's very easy for me to like just, all right, I'm gonna let this go.
Right.
You know, because this is clearly not gonna be, you know, I feel tempted to do things that I know are not honoring to God and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like the truth is with this dude, like I can't think of one thing that we have done that wasn't like just good, like good, okay time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Not that it was always like, I don't want to say fellowship because he's not a believer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, he's never been like, hey dude, let's get shit faced tonight. Or, hey man, can we just like trip acid? Or, you know, hey man, let's go to strip. It's never been anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels a little like more like, damn, I'm really just like, my feelings are just hurt. And it feels like the final straw.
Yep.
And that feels kind of wimpy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm thinking, I'm like, I feel like guys need to know that it's okay. Like it's okay to just be like, hey, you know what? We don't click.
Mm-hmm.
We used to. We don't anymore.
Yeah.
And for my own like mental health and not letting our friendship like, because that dude, it ruined like 2-3 days. Like I did not have a great 4th of July because I was just still bummed. I was still sad. I was like, damn, man, I really hate the way he said that. Really hurt my feelings. I still feel like I want to have a shower argument, playing it back over my head a million times. And it's a dumb text message.
Right.
And I should be happy to hang out with my like in-laws and my wife for 4th of July. I'm just bummed.
Yeah.
And it's just not worth that, man. It's not worth that kind of cost.
Yeah.
Like I don't know a friendship that is worth that. Like I love my friends, but I can't think of one friend that I'd rather keep you around and be sad when I'm trying to have good quality time with family.
Right.
Because you were mean to me. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I've reclassified a few people in my life as where it's like, I don't call them brother anymore. Like, you're my friend. Sure. You know, you're my buddy, but I don't call you brother because that for me, that's where that like, they don't get to have that place anymore. And it's sad, but then, but it ends up being healthier to reclassify, you know, and it's like, and so, and I guess I've never told somebody that just straight up. So I don't know how you go about it.
Yeah, but, I know, right? It's
besides
weird.
Like, and here's the deal too, with someone like this, you can, whatever you say, it's not going to be received well because because guess what? Now you're the judgmental Christian.
Exactly.
And so you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Which is why I'm going to try to be like, look, man, it's not about you being a bad influence in regards to like trying to tempt me to do anything, or like you're always trying to like put me in a situation where, you know, I'm having to pick between being goody two shoes or compromising. It's literally just like, feel like you're mean. Yeah. You know, like I'm not going to like lean on Christ at all of like I feel like God is telling me that this isn't glorifying to him. I'm just be like, dude, look, I just don't like the way you talk to me and the way it makes me miss out on time with others.
Yeah.
And that's just got to put some boundaries here. Yeah. But the thing that I think that makes me sad about it is like he thinks that we're really, really close friends. Like he's mentioned to me several times, especially like after talking about like, you know, just some of the experiences he's gone through. He said like, I really appreciate how close of friends we are, how you guys were like here for me and helped me kind of through the process, hung out with me and gave me community. I'm like, dude, I'm also happy for that. At the same time, I don't think we're as close of friends. I don't feel as close to you as I think you feel to us or to me. Because I feel like you don't know me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Or at least respect you either.
Yeah.
You know?
So, kind of sad thing, man, but I feel like men should talk about that. So that way, because I think ghosting a homie is just bad.
Not honorable.
Yeah. And there's no integrity in it.
And I think honestly, it'll be freeing. Like I had a relationship with it that just like tore me up.
A woman, you said?
No,
one relationship.
One relationship with a dude.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like things went sour and it just like tore me up for a long time. Was like,
yeah.
And it affected me in a way that I didn't even know I could be affected by that, because you think you just like brush it off. But like you're saying, where it wrecks days at a time. And it was just like, all right, like this has to be put into a different box, a different classification. And that's where it's going to sit.
I don't think I've ever felt that way until like I was literally I realized not even time with my wife and family like is making me forget about it. Like it's so weenie to say, right? It's silly, but it's just like does feel like a breakup. like does feel like you got to dump the chick.
Yep. Yeah. You aren't doing him any favors by like just letting him have a place where he can just be an angry ass, you know.
Which is again, like, to his credit, like when we're in a group, one of the nicest dudes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, what about, do you and that guy ever kind of reconnect as friends again, or is it just like you just remain acquaintances?
At this point, we just remain acquaintances, you know, like, you know, and that's.
Could be in the same room and hang out and talk and stuff, but like it's not the same like level of connection.
Not the same trust, not the same connection for sure. Yeah. And so it's like, you're not my brother. You're a friend. You know, if someone asks me, hey, you friends with this guy? Yeah, he's my friend.
Yeah.
You know.
That's pooey.
It is. Makes me sad.
On a not sad note, I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry. There was something about space that I was going to bring up tonight about something from the new James Webb telescope, but I couldn't recall it. On a kind of light note, or like at least this is good news note, right? Yeah. Someone did the math for the decompression submarine, the Titan sub that exploded.
Oh, yeah.
Someone did the math and they didn't feel anything. It got hotter than the surface of the sun inside that submarine when it imploded.
My God.
And the pressure and material it was made out of carbon fiber. So the pressure from the water rushing in, the pressure from the submarine imploding, the shrapnel of the carbon fiber breaking. Because when carbon fiber breaks, it's not like metal ripping or denting.
Right.
When carbon fiber breaks, it like shatters. You know, it's needles.
Yeah.
All that combined with the heat, the medical term that is being used by doctors and people who know sub stuff and all that math well, toothpaste.
Oh my God.
Like instantaneous, just toothpaste. And so like a lot of people are like, I don't know why they're spending money doing searches for any remains. There is no remains.
Right.
Like you found pieces of the sub. That's all that's going to be there.
Like you might find a tooth.
Not even.
But like, good luck.
Not even.
You might find a filling.
Yeah.
You know.
Isn't that crazy?
Hotter than the surface of the sun.
Yeah, because it was like it's the fact that there's pressure inside and air, gas that has nowhere to go, and you could see this happen with like mantis shrimp.
Oh
when they pump their cars and there's like the boom, the little spark.
Yeah,
it's because they create a vacuum and the water comes back in to fill that hole so quick that it explodes.
Right.
But yeah, that's essentially what happened. And so they're like, just know that like they at most had an alarm and only one person, like only the dude who was piloting probably was like, that's not good. And it probably wasn't even like a full thought. It was probably like, and then it was over.
Wow. Because it was piloted by a Xbox remote.
Not even.
I mean, it was
knockoff Xbox remote, which the issue a lot of people were saying is like, look, we have billion-dollar submarines that are piloted by Microsoft Xbox controllers. That's totally fine. In fact, those controllers are so advanced in technology, there's a reason they're still $60 to $100 a piece. The issue was that they were using a wireless controller.
That's what I was going to say, because everything was Bluetooth. And I'm like, bro, there was zero manual controls and it's Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Guess what? I've been on the surface of the land.
Of the land.
And in my
surface of the land.
Yeah. And my phone won't connect to my car, which it connects to all the time.
Yeah.
And then it won't connect. And I was just like, what the hell are they doing? All they had in there was it was two old school monitors.
Did you see them screwed into the bulkhead?
That part, I was like, I would never let anybody screw me into anything that you can't get out of. Even if it was floating, they would have been dead. Even if it was floating, they couldn't get out. Oh my God. Horrible. Has anybody ever been hit by a mantis shrimp? Like any jackass guys?
Yeah, you can watch guys get punched by them. They're like, it doesn't kill you.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's like
hurts.
Worse than a bee sting.
Yeah, you bleed. I watched the guy, he caught one and it landed in his kayak.
Oh.
And it started punching him and it punched and tore his wetsuit. And like you could see a good amount of blood coming out of his wetsuit.
Wow. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
They put those things on sushi.
I don't think so, man. I don't think he was trying to catch it. I think he just reeled it up,
Man. Wow. I was reading some of the emails from the inventor of the sub with like an engineer, and the engineer was just like,
carbon fiber has an expiration date.
Yeah, all that stuff, and then he even threw in there like, the engineer was like, do you not find it ironic that the argument you're making is the same argument they used on the Titanic?
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh man, sad story.
You're going to see the Titanic? Yeah, it's pretty sad, but it's like, I mean, again, I feel like I would have been way more sad and like, okay, it doesn't matter that I'm sad. People died. That's what matters. That's unfortunate. But I would have had a lot more grief over it, I think, if it was like, yeah, they like strangled each other because they knew they were going to run out of air, and they were just sitting at the bottom of the seabed hoping someone would come rescue them.
Right.
For 96 hours, right?
Yeah.
Like, that is hellish. The idea that all of them probably had no idea, they were just looking at the monitors like, wow, and then it was over. That's a better end. That's good.
Yeah, then it's slowly filling with water. But oh man, and you know what, here's the deal. Extreme explorers been dying since the beginning of time. That's just the name of the game on some of that stuff. If you're going in whatever prototype thing in 2000 BC or prototype thing in 2000 AD, you're getting risky.
Well, ironically, if a buddy of mine told me this, ironically, one of the dudes, the Titanic expert that was on it, probably would have been the first people called in the event of this situation happening, because he would have been like, they would have asked like, well, can you help us map out like and understand where everything's at and where they're like most likely to be debris and like what the currents are.
Right.
Because the dude was an absolute like renowned world expert on the Titanic and where it's at and like the environment around it. And so like I thought that was kind of very ironic.
And do you know how much what was the name of the
Titan?
The Titan. Do you know how much the Titan cost to build?
I don't know. They said they spend over $1 million a year in gas to get the ship out there and then run the fuel to operate it, and then like use the crane to pull it in and out. I know tickets to ride were $100K.
Right.
Each.
I'm just wondering, like,
they said the company was never in the black.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like the vessel itself though was just not very complex, or I don't know. Under engineered.
It was a lot of college interns, I think is what they said. Like a lot of college intern engineers that helped, like that they'd asked to design it and build it.
And I think too that the viewport capability was so crappy, it was not worth it.
Yeah.
Most of the time you were spending was looking at the monitor screen,
which
you could do from up here.
I can't imagine what price tag I would pay to do that. I don't think I'd do it for free.
To look through a 4-inch hole
and sit on my cross-legged on my butt for 8 hours to go down and come back up on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can't imagine, like, yeah, you get to say you did it, but it's like, I don't know. I'd much rather save my money to go to space. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like be one on the passenger rockets that are coming out. It did give me going down a deep dive though of like luxurious niche tours.
Oh yeah.
And have you heard about this blimp that is being built and designed, and the tickets are $250,000, and it'll go from Africa to the Antarctic and back in like 5 days or something. It's supposed to be very luxurious, supposed to have like a chef and a bar, and has like 6 cabins, each designed for a couple. So it's only like supposed to have like 12 passengers at most.
Yeah.
And it's like $500K starting. And I was just like,
insane.
That's crazy, but that'd be pretty badass. Like the whole bottom, like there's a lot of it that's glass bottom.
Oh wow.
So you like look down through the glass as it's flying over.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've just been anti-blimp since like the Hindenburg.
Dude, I think blimps should come back.
Yeah.
I would do a blimp cruise in a heartbeat. Like I love normal cruises. it's such a great experience
Mm-hmm.
that all that, but in the air would be hella sick.
An Elvis impersonator up there and eating some all-you-can-eat sushi.
Bro, have you ever been on a cruise ship?
Uh-huh.
Doesn't it just melt your brain that thing's floating in the ocean and how like there's auditoriums?
It's wild.
It's mind-boggling.
It is crazy. There's some people who, if you do it right, you can, like, when you retire, it's cheaper to just cruise
Yeah.
hop. And they just cruise hop around.
We met a lot of those people
Yeah.
when we went. They had been like on over 80 cruises, and they were just jumping from ship to ship last minute
Mm-hmm.
because that's the cheapest.
Filling in the seats. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I wouldn't mind flying a plane out of the bottom of a blimp like Indiana Jones.
Dude, speaking of that,
Mm.
I heard not the first one, the newest one sucks. I heard it is not good.
It was.
Oh, you saw it?
I did. I went and saw it.
I just heard it was I heard it made the Crystal Skull look fun.
Yeah, it's what it is. You know.
What do you mean? I haven't seen it.
I mean,
I've only watched a couple of reviews.
Yeah, it's just that I had really low expectations going into it. Like, I was like, going into it, I was like, if he cracks his whip and it plays D to D D, I'll be happy. Like, that's where I set my expectations in order to have a good time with it.
Yeah.
Because, it was, I think I liked it better than Crystal Skull, but
Really?
it's, the last time I saw Crystal Skull in theaters when it came out.
Yeah.
Like, I just saw this one in theaters when it came out. The next time we're going to see it? Probably never.
Yeah. Dude, I'm a firm believer that if Crystal Skull
Mm-hmm.
didn't have the huge, like, alien plot in it,
Mm-hmm.
like if it was just subbed out for something else,
Mm-hmm.
Crystal Skulls being, supernatural artifacts, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, but just like the alien plot, I think really didn't fit or work well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the CGI was not the best, especially like the chase through the jungle with the giant buzzsaw
Mm-hmm.
truck. But the rest of that movie, I think, works pretty well.
Mhm.
Like, I really enjoyed the whole, like, greasers versus jocks
Oh yeah.
scene, and like, the stuff that was practical in that movie, I thought was great. The Mayan or Aztec temple,
Mm-hmm.
Incan temple, where like they're having to worry about like the natives protecting it, and like they're just all like no holds barred trying to kill everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Like, that felt really Temple of Doom stuff,
Yeah.
The rest of that movie, I think if you just sub out the aliens,
Mm-hmm.
works really well.
I think this one's similar in like
I don't even know what they're trying to get.
when they rely on too much CGI, because there's like also like
I heard the first like 30 minutes is like CGI Harrison Ford face that is de-aged, and it didn't. There's way better YouTube de-aging than there is in that movie, I heard.
Yeah, and the problem would be watching it on a movie theater screen. If you watched it on a TV, you'd be like, like you'd still see where it's jacked. But like watching it on that big of a screen, that many, like it was like a full shot of his face just right there. And it's like, and I think they thought, funny thing too is like, think about how far AI's come in the past 12 months.
Yeah.
They were working on this way before. And like, I think they relied on that too much as a gimmick that would be cool. And now it's like, I can de-age stuff on my phone, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, so it wasn't as cool or a wow factor as it would have been 2-3 years ago, maybe. And then the other part, when you rely on too much CGI, and then when the artifact stuff gets too weird, too far out there, we're like, and I'd say, the stuff with the Holy Grail and the stuff with the Ark of the Covenant, maybe it wasn't too far out there. It just had mystic elements.
It was awe-inspiring,
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when it really shows like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, this crusader
Yeah.
still here. This is, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, this is nuts.
They're just incredible. And so then those pieces, they relied too much on CGI. They relied too much on, and then anytime you bring in time travel stuff, it just gets weird, and they didn't do, because it's the dial of destiny, right? It's this thing. And so like they didn't do it's not like this like time hopping thing that they do throughout the whole movie or whatever, but just like they relied too much on the artifact, just like the crystal skull thing, where it's just like, that's okay. There was like this one reveal where they tried to be, lots of stuff fell flat in it is all, and then, so like I said, I just put my expectations on seeing Indiana Jones crack his whip, and I got it.
Nice. Yeah, I get that. I don't think I'm gonna watch it. Like, I don't think I'm gonna
Just
go
at
pay
all.
the ticket.
Yeah,
not like out of protest, just like, I don't really think it warrants a Brews and Reviews episode or anything.
Because I think the thing about the Crystal Skull, it came out so long after the other one that the nostalgia factor was awesome. Just like, and then like, oh, he has a son and all, blah blah blah, all this stuff, and then like the nostalgia factors in this one just weren't as. It's like we already got that in the last one, so.
Yeah. Alrighty.
That's that.
Well, what do you think? I feel like this is a good ep.
I think so.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, we covered a couple different things.
Covered a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Had some comedy. Had some serious discussion and advice.
Oh, yeah.
Feel pretty good about it. I hope our kin out there are enjoying it, and I hope you all are in the zone and ready for kind of this next phase as we're moving into it. Doing a lot of rebranding, changing a lot of the episode titles too, keeping them in like a sequential order. So if you want to watch stuff in order, it will still be in order, but we're gonna try to search engine optimize the titles for as we learn, we kind of figured out, hey, apparently the numbering your episodes isn't good for distribution. So doing a little bit of rebranding on that, but everything else will still be in order. We got a Brews and Reviews from the Vault coming out this week about the terminal list. Thoughts on that, so stick around for that. But that's pretty much all. So more updates for you next time.
Yeah. Till next time. Thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, drop us a review. If you have qualms or comments, leave us a voicemail on our website. While you're there, check out our latest news, merch, and deals from our sponsors. Till next time, Ken.